The Lightning Network facilitates payments slightly differently from conventional blockchain transactions, which can be a little confusing initially. This can be especially problematic when you run low on funds and need to rebalance your channels. Here are a few key points regarding Bison Relay's Lightning Network channels. Bison Relay requires two channels, an outbound and an inbound. The outbound channel is used for sending and receiving messages, sending tips, and pretty much any other activity for sending funds. The outbound channel is balanced from left to right. For instance, the funds you have available are in the local area, and the funds that you've spent are in the remote area. As you spend funds or send and receive messages, your available balance, the local balance, moves to the remote balance. Another example of this is if you load 0.2 DCR into the outbound channel. This will start in the local balance and gradually move to the remote balance over time. When you close this channel, the local balance gets moved back to your on-chain account, and the remote balance gets dissolved. When opening a new outbound channel, this process starts again. When opening inbound channels, you're effectively asking to borrow funds from a liquidity provider and pay a small fee for this service. Liquidity providers help users to find a route to your Lightning Network channels and make sure funds can be transferred without routing issues. When you open a new inbound channel, you tell the provider how much DCR to make available. These funds are then added to the remote side of the balance. Inbound channels work from right to left, starting in the remote area and then gradually moving to the local area as you receive tips and payments. This is the reverse of the outbound channel. When the remote side gets low, you'll need to rebalance by closing the channel and opening a new one. When closing the channel, the amount in your local balance gets transferred to your on-chain account and the remote side of the channel gets dissolved. Inbound channels are predominantly used for receiving tips and other payments. When setting up inbound channels, it's worth thinking about how much you expect to receive before you want to rebalance. This is for two reasons. Firstly, the more you put into a channel, the higher the fee will be. And secondly, if the amount is too low, you'll be opening and closing channels more frequently, which could get expensive and time consuming. Let's have a look at the process for rebalancing our Lightning Network channels. When funds are low, close the appropriate channels. In our case, we're going to close both to start afresh, but generally, you only need to close the one with low funds. Closing a channel takes approximately 1 to 2 blockchain confirmations. We'll then open an outbound channel. I'll add 0.2 DCR to this channel. This will take 3 blockchain confirmations to be fully active. During this time, you can't open another channel. Next, we'll open our inbound channel. I'll add 0.5 DCR to this channel. Once again, this will take approximately 3 blockchain confirmations to become fully active. The final step is to do a full backup. This can only be done once all the channels are fully open. Failing to do this each time you open new channels could result in loss of funds. As you can see, this process is relatively simple, but does take a little time to complete. It's also worth saying at this point that this process is likely to become even more efficient as the development of Bison Relay continues.